Shalom Israel, Wilayah SUPK started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. And since 1969, we'll be teaching this truth that according to the Bible, the Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians, we are the Israelites, we are the Jews according to the Bible. I'm Priest and Officer Sha'al. I'm Priest and Officer Sha'al. I'm holding the class down for Priest and Officer Bakwach Amalf, and today is history class. Let's clap it up. Most High in Christ. So today is, what is today? Today is June 20th, right? Which is a so-called holiday, right? According to our oppressors, today is a so-called holiday, which is Juneteenth. Which last year, your president, Joe Biden, you understand, the oppressor, he marked Juneteenth as a federal holiday, you understand, for Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians, for what we went through during June in 1921, right? So we're going to get into the history of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the atrocities that fell Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians. You understand? We're going to also pair the scriptures up with the characteristics, you understand, of your oppressor, which is the white man. You understand? Because our people have a tendency of always forgetting their past. Why? Because Esau, you understand, Esau, he always gives us gifts, which we're going to get into the Bible. He always pacify us and numb us, you understand, to make us docile and weak and forgetful of the oppressive ways of his oppressive history that he's done to Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians. You understand? Well, ISUPK is here to tell you to never forget Juneteenth, you understand, and never to trust your enemy. You can never trust your oppressor. You understand? No matter how much he try to apologize or soothe his ways. But we're going to get into the scriptures of Juneteenth, right? Bear with me. Salakia. And as always, you understand, this story is similar to the Emmett Till situation where, where a brother was accused of assaulting a white woman. You understand? All of this, what happened with the Tulsa, Oklahoma bombings, you understand? This was done based on a white woman getting assaulted. And we're going to get into that history. You understand? Once again, these are the things that's not taught to you in your schools. You understand? Esau tried to cover it up and whatnot. But we're going to get into it, right? This is from the Washington Post. Salakia, I'm trying to go back and forth with this. Salakia. Salakia. It's wild. Everything's already set up. Most in Christ. Salakia for that, brothers and sisters. So we're going to get into this article, basically how Juneteenth started. And we're going to get into the history of Black Wall Street and how Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians, we had our own town and was thriving, you understand, without the help of our oppressor. We didn't have to depend on them. Why? Because we had our own, right? So this first article is from, I'm gonna read this for time's sake. I'm not going to put this up on the computer.
Go on.
For time's sake. This is from the Washington Post, and it says, Retropolis, his arrest sparked the Tulsa race massacre. Then Vic Rowland disappeared. Okay, it goes on to say, he liked to call himself Diamond Dick. Pause, Salakia. Dick Rowland, a tall teenager with velvet skin, wore a diamond ring as he shined shoes in downtown Tulsa. So now we're talking about a black teenage boy, right? Who was 19 years old, who wore a diamond ring, right? Which means what? Off the bat, that he's wealthy. To have a diamond ring and you're shining shoes, that means that you're doing a hell of a job shining shoes in order to wear a diamond ring, right? Rowland, 19, had recently dropped out of Booker T. Washington High School, where he was a star football player, because he was making so much money polishing the shoes of oilmen in a city that billed itself as the oil capital of the world. So now we're reading about this young man. You understand? He made so much money shining the shoes of his oppressor. On May 30th, 1921, let's not forget this date. 1921, Slaki, let's not forget this year. On May 30th, 1921, Rowland took a break from his shoe stand inside a pool hall and walked to a Drexel building to use the only public restroom for black people in segregated Tulsa. So now this city was segregated, meaning that black people were separated from white people. You understand? We didn't integrate. We didn't mix with each other. Rowland passed Renberg's, a department store that occupied the first 2 floors of the Drexel building, and stepped into an open wire cage elevator operated by a 17-year-old white girl named Sarah Page. What happened next remains murky, according to historians and reports about one of the worst episodes of racial violence in U.S. history. Rowland may have accidentally stepped on Page's foot. You hear what it says? Rowland may accidentally step on Page's foot. Now listen. I mean, an accident is an accident, right? You can't just apologize and make amends after that. But no, not the oppressor. The oppressor will never forgive you. Right. You understand? That was a perfect opportunity to start an uproar amongst black people. And this is no different from what happened with Emmett Till. Rowland may have accidentally stepped on Page's foot, prompting her to shriek or trip and bump into her. So while he accidentally stepped on a foot, you understand, most likely this elevator was in motion, the brother, he lost balance, bumping into this white woman. When the elevator doors reopened, Dick Rowland ran, and a clerk in Rendsburg called police. Rowland was arrested and accused of assaulting a white girl. Though the charges were eventually dropped, and Page later wrote a letter exonerating him. The accusation was enough to infuriate the white Tulsa. Oh, so now the white man, you understand, the white man in Tulsa, Oklahoma, you understand, they heard this story. And all they mind they could picture is just a black man attacking this innocent white woman, which it wasn't the case. You understand? He accidentally tripped over the white woman's shoes and bumped her. Now now the oppressor, he's taking it into a whole different other category now. You understand? And this what sparked the Tulsa, Oklahoma bombings, you understand, which is Black Wall Street. 3 hours after the Tulsa Tribune hit the street with the headline, "Nab Negro for attacking girl in elevator." You hear that, Peralta? You understand? No. And that wasn't even the case. You understand? Your oppressor is a liar and a deceiver. And yet, should we celebrate Juneteenth? Should we be proud that the oppressor gave us a holiday? You understand? When this holiday was based off of lies, or for a brother simply making a mistake and tripping over a white woman's feet. Hey, listen, man, this city we live in, New York City, is a crowded city. You understand? You constantly bumping into people. You constantly tripping over people's foot, especially if you ride the subway and the buses. You understand? Accidents bound to happen daily.
Right.
But this is what occurred back in 1921. Now, these are oppressors in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Tulsa is taking it to a whole different extreme. Hundreds of white men gathered. You hear that? Hundreds. You understand? This sounds like a damn mob,
It is.
right? A mob. Hundreds of white men gathered at the Tulsa courthouse where Rowland was being held. Black World War I veterans who wanted to protect Rowland from being lynched rushed to the courthouse to defend him. You hear that? So you got Black World War I veterans know the history of the white man, the oppressor Salakia, know his ways, know his hatred for Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians, ran to the courtyard to defend Rowland because you know what? They was gonna lynch him. A shot was fired and all hell broke loose. A massacre survivor recorded later. As the whites moved north, they set fire to practically every building in the African American community. You hear that? As whites moved north, they set fire to practically every building in the African American community. So now there's a riot that's breaking out now. You understand? And all hell is breaking loose because this so-called innocent white girl accidentally got bumped, you understand, and made it into a whole different story. Now, guess what? Now they in our neighborhoods burning down our houses, our businesses. You understand? In our community. Remember, I read that the town was segregated. You understand? We were separated from them. So they went from their part of the land into ours, which is now, you could say that's trespassing now because you don't belong in there. You understand? You don't belong in our neighborhoods. Including a dozen churches, 5 hotels, 31 restaurants, 4 drugstores, 8 doctor's offices. You got something to say, Parapazar?
Salaki, sir. I got the article up.
You got it?
Come.
Khan, can you start off where I left at? Can you read where?
Let me see. Let me see. Including. Oh, here we go.
Well, start from where it says as whites move north.
Come. As whites move north, they set fire
They
to.
did what?
They set fire.
Read on.
To practically every building in the African American community.
So they set fire to every building in our community. Read on.
Including a dozen churches.
So we had a dozen churches. Read on.
5 hotels.
5 hotels.
31 restaurants.
Read on.
4 drugstores.
4 what?
Drugstores.
4 drugstores, man. Hey, listen, in order to operate a drugstore, that means that, listen, man, somebody got to be in that there got to be a doctor that's operating and that's well educated in the field of medication. You understand? And, hey, listen, man, this is the things that Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians had to ourselves. This is the things that we had before civil rights movement, before Martin Luther came in with his false dream, wanting to integrate with the oppressor. These are the things that Martin Luther King sacrificed and had Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians killed because he didn't appreciate having his own. He didn't appreciate having his own community, his own wealth, where he, for the lust of loving white women, he wanted to jeopardize everything we have.
Right.
And now today we don't have nothing because of that Martin Luther King false dream. When Blacks want to integrate, you understand, that means is guess what? Now we're forsaking what we have and wanting to build with other enemies that don't care about us. Because eventually they're going to push us out the way. Look at Harlem. Look at Harlem, for instance. Harlem is reduced to what? Was thriving with black wealth. Now you see the oppressors and with their shirts off, jogging, walking their poodles
That's right.
like it's nothing, and looking at the homeless man on the corner like he's the problem. Read on.
It's locked in.
What's what?
This thing is it's loose. So I got
31
eight-
restaurants.
yeah, 31 restaurants.
31 what?
Restaurants.
We had 31 restaurants, man. You understand? Hey, listen, man, we didn't go to our oppressors for food when we had our own restaurants. Read on.
4 drugstores.
Read on.
8 doctors.
Offices.
8 doctors' office.
Listen, man, we had our own hospitals, our own doctor offices. Right? Read on.
More than 2 dozen grocery stores.
We have more than 2 dozen grocery stores. Read on.
And Salaki, so if I may, that's over 24 grocery stores.
Right.
That's over
Absolutely.
24 grocery
Right.
stores.
And the thing is that, hey, listen, when you walk out your apartment or whatever, your house, right? Do we got that in our neighborhoods? Nah, our neighborhoods is ran by goddamn Arab stores. You understand? Who sell you drug paraphernalia with these smoke shops. Yeah, I understand. Tito, he got the bodega. I understand. Yeah, Tito, the least the Dominicans is holding it down with their bodegas, right or wrong. Right. But however, guess what? They gotta go to the white man for that for their property. You understand? If they don't pay on time, if the insurance getting paid on time, guess what? The oppressor is taking that away. So really, they don't own their own property. Read on.
And the Black Public Library.
And the what?
Black Public Library.
Listen, man, we had our own library. Black and Hispanic and Native North American Indians. We had it own, and this was in 1921. You understand? Years before Hitler did whatever he did to those the imposters. We was thriving in 1921. Read on.
According to a 2001 report by the Oklahoma Commission to study the Tulsa race riot of 1921.
Of 1921, read on.
By the time the violence ended, the city had been placed under martial law.
Right, the city was placed under martial law. You understand? Now the military is within our streets now, adding more oppression. Read on.
Thousands of Tulsans were being held under armed guards, and the state's second largest African American community have been burned to the ground.
Has been what?
Burned to the ground.
Has been burned to the ground, man. Burned to the ground for what? All because a brother made a mistake and bumped on a white woman, stepped on a white woman's shoe, which now the white mob is calling it to be an attack on her. Now our cities had to be burned down. Now you think stepping on her shoe was really the case, Officer Peratazar? Was that the real issue behind why our towns was being bombed?
Nah.
No, it wasn't. You understand? That's small and minute.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? That's very small and minute. That's petty. You understand? The real reason why is because they wanted to go into our towns and bomb our cities. Why? Because we were thriving. You got to understand, when Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians stick together and we have our own, that means that the other oppressors, they don't eat. You understand? Their economic structure goes down when we stick together as a nation, like how it says in Zephaniah 2:1. You understand? When we come together as a nation, we don't need the other nations. And therefore, their pockets hurt. Their economic system is going out. Nobody is going to their stores or their doctors. So they looked for a way to come into our neighborhood and bomb what we had. Read on.
Khan. As many as 300 people were killed.
As many as what?
300 people were killed.
300 people were killed. You understand? So we're talking about men, women, and children were killed during these bombings and these raids. Read on.
10,000 were left homeless,
10,000 were left homeless. Read on.
and 35 square blocks of Greenwood, one of the country's most prosperous black community.
One of the most what?
One of the most prosperous black communities.
Yeah, and we was prospering. We was prospering amongst our own. Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians. You guys understand what
It's a lot, yes, sir. What you man, by me reading this and understanding, they acknowledge that, I'm saying, it was over 300 deaths.
Right.
But they're not acknowledging the wounded.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The maimed.
Right.
They're acknowledging that. The people who did stay alive, but meanwhile they in a wheelchair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Something was chopped off, And also probably a couple of them was kidnapped and lynched.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. You understand? You want to talk about, hey, listen, Juneteenth, instead of giving us a holiday, give us back reparations, man. Give us back what you stole from us, what you took from us. You understand? You got to understand that many children that could have gained generational wealth, all of that was put to an end. All of that was put to an end during these Tulsa bombings and raidings. And you wonder why we don't got generational wealth? Just because, guess what? The oppressor, he takes from us. He takes, he robs, and he constantly steals from us. Read on.
Oh, God. Word, let me start 30, okay. Prosperous black community were destroyed.
So, Lucky, let me give that with you. Where you
Come.
Read that from the top. As many as 300 people.
Come. As many as 300 people was killed. 10,000 was left homeless.
Mm-hmm.
And 35 square blocks of Greenwood.
Mm-hmm.
One of the country's most prosperous black communities were destroyed.
Were what?
Destroyed.
They were destroyed, man. They were bombed. Read on.
Witnesses reported seeing bodies tossed into the muddy Arkansas River or dumped into mass graves.
Listen, man, it was so much dead bodies, man, that, listen, man, they threw our bodies into the pits. You understand? Never mind a proper burial. You understand? They was throwing our bodies into the pits, man. Read on.
Making it impossible to count the dead.
Making it impossible to count the dead. Hey, listen, man, I bet you it was this. Don't trust this 300 people were killed, man. You understand? I bet you it was much more than that. You understand? Because in here it was saying that, listen, man, making it impossible to count the dead. You could count up to 300. You understand? But it was so many of us that was dead. They killed so many of our people that it was impossible to count. Read on.
While smoke still rose from the ashes of Greenwood.
Well, you know what? You could drop that to get you just to get you to understanding on how this Tulsa, Oklahoma, you understand, which city was called Black Wall Street. Why? Because we were thriving. How this all started, basically on a brother that stepped on another white woman's foot. It's disgusting, right? We're gonna jump into another article later. First, let me get Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7.
7 and 7. Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians.
7,
we are not. Oh, Salakia. I want that scripture that says, "Never forget." Never forget. Let me see. That's in Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. This is very, very important. Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7.
32,
Let me get
verse
there
7.
with you.
Come.
Because nowadays, hey, listen, man, our people has a tendency to always forget. Always forget the oppression, always forget the rape, murder, robbery, bloodshed, and pillage that fell on Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians. You understand? When your oppressor gives you a day like this today, Juneteenth, he's really wants you to forget about your history. You understand? Wipe away all sorrow and all and all anger of what happened to you and your people. But this is what the Most High said. He said, never forget, right? Why is it every time, you understand, we bring up our past, the oppressors say, oh, always forget. It would that, today is a new day. They even go to say, you know what, you're not in slavery no more. You know what I'm saying? They say forget. But while we could still mourn, Slakia, now we could still, I say, like how the other oppressors, like the Amalekites, the fake Jewish, you understand? They throw the Holocaust in our face every time. Paratiza?
Salaki, so I think you're looking for, they could always talk about their hardship.
Mm-hmm.
They could always talk about what happened to them. But once, you know what I'm saying, Salaki, sir, if I may, but once we talk about it, forget about that.
Right.
You know, that was in the past.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So what you got? So what you don't got no laces in your boots? Still strap. You know what I'm saying? Still pull yourself up by the straps.
Right. Right. I always bring this up every year, man. There was an incident on the Steve Harvey show when he said, well, what happens when the oppressors bring up slavery? Steve Harvey said, oh, that's in the past. You understand? That was a big topic because, hey, listen, man, you have simple Negroes, you understand, who's willing to forget about our past.
That's right.
But this is what the Most High said. Let me get that Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7. Remember the days of old.
No, forget.
Remember the days of old.
The Most High said, remember the days of old, man. You got to remember the days of old. You understand? And what your oppressor have done to you. What he've done to the Native North American Indians. What he've done to the so-called African Americans, the Haitians, the Dominican Republic, the Puerto Ricans. You understand? The brothers and sisters that scout out North and South Central Americas. You got to remember the oppressive ways that this enemy has treated us. Read on.
Consider the years of many generations.
Read that again.
From the top, sir?
No.
Oh, consider the years of many generations.
You got to consider the years of many generations, man. Like what went on in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921.
Right.
You understand? What they don't teach you is that we were a neighborhood that thrived off of riches and businesses and wealth. Right? Read on.
Come. Ask thy father.
Read on.
And he will show thee.
Ask thy father, and he will show you. You understand? And this is not what's happening. You understand? You gotta ask. Hey, listen, man. Some of us are still blessed with grandparents and great grandparents. You understand? Ask them on what occurred back in their days. You understand? Especially those brothers and sisters that was living up in the north and the south and on Mississippi and stuff like that, Texas. They're gonna let you know that, man. Listen, man. This oppressor was the damn devil, man.
Right.
And he hated Black, Hispanic, and North American Indians. And there was a time when we were separated. You understand? You think the white man? Hey, listen. The white man wasn't doing us a favor. You understand? By wanting us to be segregated. That was the best thing that ever happened to Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians. I don't want to drink out your filthy, disgusting white water fountain. I don't want to use your filthy, disgusting restrooms or eat out your goddamn restaurants while we have our own. You understand? You ask the people up the old, and they will tell you. Read on.
Okay. And he will show thee thy elders, and they will tell thee.
Yeah, and they will tell you, man. You got to knock on your elders' doors, man. You got to beat down their doors and ask them what occurred during their lifetime and compare to how it is today. Now, is there anything that's different?
Is there anything that's different?
Yeah. There's nothing different.
There's nothing.
There's nothing different. You understand? Hey, listen, man, 2022, you understand? You understand what happened? George Floyd happened in what, 2021, about 2 years ago.
Okay.
You understand? Hey, listen, man, we're still getting hanged, we're still getting shot, we're still getting pepper sprayed, we're still getting beat and oppressed by the oppressor. You understand? And his police authority. Nothing's changed.
Okay.
Drop that. Let me get Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7.
7 and 7.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7.
Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
Surely oppression. You understand? Are we not oppressed? Are not Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians? Are we not oppressed?
Right.
You understand? No matter where you are, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, if you are if you are the Lord's chosen people, or if you're an Israelite, you are an oppressed, man. We oppressed. And the scripture says, read that again.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
No, a foolish man.
A wise man mad.
A wise man mad. You understand? When you come into the ISUBK, and that's the great thing about the ISUBK under Commander General Yohana, because we are taught things that this world hides from us. You understand? We are taught the history of Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians. And gaining that wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, we become mad. Why? Because now we become more wise. You understand? Before, when I was in before I came into the ISUBK, I didn't understand. I didn't know anything about Tulsa before Oklahoma.
That's right.
Or Black Wall Street. You understand? Or many things that we learn here. And the part of learning that, you understand, you gain knowledge, wisdom, understanding, and now that makes you mad. Because now, like the scripture says, the Most High said that, I'm paraphrasing, them that rule over you are no people. I'm paraphrasing. Mm-hmm. We are being ruled over a people that the Most High called not a people. That they are less than nothing, that they are a drop in the bucket. And how did it get like this? How did it get like this? Because we was disobedient to the Most High Lord, statutes, commandments. You understand? If we would have kept his Lord, statutes, commandments, it would have been no Juneteenth. We don't need no goddamn Juneteenth. Right. You understand? All of that is just making us remember more and being oppressed and mad more. Read on.
Gone. And a gift destroyeth the heart.
Now, this is the thing I want. You understand? Your Juneteenth holiday that the oppressor gave you, Joe Biden, is a what? A gift.
A gift.
It's a damn gift. Read that precept again.
I'm going from the top. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart.
And a gift destroyeth the heart. Now, why does a gift destroy? How can a gift destroy the heart? Now, listen, if I slap you across the face, right? Which we don't condone violence against any Black, Hispanic, or Native North American Indian or anyone else. We don't condone violence, but we do defend ourselves. But let's say if someone slaps you across the face, right, and gives you a gift and says, I'm sorry, you're acceptable to forgive him of that slap that they gave you.
Salaki, sir. Actually, that's what happened.
Right.
They killed George Floyd and gave him the gift of Juneteenth. Mm-hmm. That's right. What happened. They forgot all about George Floyd.
Right. Exactly. You understand? So the Most High said that a gift destroyeth the heart. And this happens far too often. Mm-hmm. Far too often. You understand? The white man killed 77 Native North American Indians, and he gave you a holiday to feast and eat, to scarf your face down with food. You understand? A gift destroyeth the heart. And that has destroyed us. Read on. Any more on that? Drop that. Let me get Let me get Obadiah chapter 1, verse 10.
1 and 10. Obadiah chapter 1 verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
For thy violence against thy brother Jacob,
For thy what?
violence against thy brother Jacob,
Tulsa, Oklahoma was what?
violent
Read on.
against thy brother Jacob.
Read on.
Shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever.
Right. This is the prophet Obadiah. He said, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob. Because remember, Esau and Jacob were brothers. You understand? We were brothers in the womb. But the scripture is saying, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob. Now, who is Jacob? Jacob is the black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians. You understand?
Right.
From the tribe of Judah all the way down to the tribe of Issachar, we are the Israelites. You understand? And he's constantly perpetuating violence against us. You understand? The scripture says that there's nothing new. So the Most High saying, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, read on, shame.
Shame shall cover thee,
Mm-hmm.
and thou shalt be cut off forever.
And we shall be cut off forever. You understand? They shall be cut off forever. Esau is no longer our brother. The Most High had to cut that off because based on the violence that this oppressor have always done to us. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, you understand, us being from the west coast of Africa being brought to the Americas and the North, South, Central Americas and the Caribbean islands, where we was constantly raped, tortured, murdered, and lynched, and all types of atrocities and heinous heinous tortures against our people. Listen, man, the Most High said, for their violence, thou shalt be cut off. Right? Drop that. Let me get Let me get Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 13.
Come.
This might be in the
Ecclesiastes chapter 6 and 13.
hold on, let me see. Salaki, that's Ecclesiasticus.
In the Apocrypha,
Come.
so 6 and 13. Apocrypha. Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, chapter 6, verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
Separate thyself from thy enemies.
No, integrate.
Separate thyself.
Make marriages.
Separate thyself.
Befriend them.
Separate thyself.
The Most High saying, separate thyself from thy enemies. You understand? This is the commandment of the Most High. You understand? We ought to separate ourselves from our enemies. You understand? And those that bombed our city in Tulsa, Oklahoma was enemies up until this very day. But listen, like the scripture says, a gift will destroy the heart, where you allow the oppressor to give you a holiday of Juneteenth. You understand? Making your heart weak and feeble and forgiving. You understand? Well, all in all, guess what? We're supposed to separate ourselves from our enemies, man. Drop that. No, read on.
Come. And take heed of thy friends.
And take what?
Take heed of thy
And
friends.
take heed of thy friends. You understand? Who are your friends? You understand? It's not the enemy. You understand? Your friends would be the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians. When we was thriving in Tulsa, Oklahoma, you understand? We had brotherhood. We had sisters. We had sisterhood. We were friends. We were family. That's the only way how a town like Tulsa, damn, that freaking word, man.
Tulsa.
That word, man, be running off the tongue.
Okay.
Tulsa, you understand, survived. You understand? On brotherhood, on sisterhood. You understand? Us sticking together. Why? Because your enemy or your oppressor, Esau, will always hate you. Drop that. Let me get this is a powerful scripture right here.
Okay.
Let me get where's that? Let me get Genesis chapter 27, verse 41. Genesis chapter For all you blacks, you understand, all you Christian churches, black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians, in your Christian churches, in your imams, in your iglesias, you understand, in your what is that? Islam, you know, your mosque, you understand, who always try to pardon the white man, or who always try to think that Esau is gonna get some type of salvation when Christ comes back. No, man. You understand? This is written better than stone that your oppressor will always hate you. Genesis. Genesis chapter, you got that?
Come.
Read on.
Genesis chapter 27, verse 41. And Esau.
And what?
And Esau.
And what?
And Esau.
Read on.
Hated Jacob.
He did what?
He hated Jacob.
Read on.
Because of the blessings therewith his father blessed him.
Man, he hated us, man. Just like how in Tulsa, you understand? Salakia. Tulsa, how they hated us. You understand? You don't think that they hated us in Tulsa? If you're looking over at a black neighborhood that's segregated, you understand? First of all, you made those laws. You understand? No white, no blacks, no Mexicans, and what they said, no dogs allowed. You understand? You made that, and now we're thriving over here in our own neighborhood. And you hated that. Why? Because the Most High blessed us. You understand why? Because Jacob blessed us, man. Read on.
Come. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand.
Right, and this is during the time when a father, Isaac, you understand, before he passed away, he gave his blessings. You understand? But he gave all his blessings and his inheritance to Jacob and not Esau. Why? Because he forsook his birthright. Read on.
Come. Then will I slay my brother Jacob.
Then will I what?
Slay my brother Jacob.
And listen, man, this has been going on up until today. You understand? This has been going on up until today, where our oppressor, the white man, he slays us. Drop that. Let me get Deuteronomy. Let me get Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49.
Come.
This shouldn't be a shock. This shouldn't be a surprise to you, man. And guess what? It's gonna happen again. You understand? Wait till those race war starts. You understand that? Now, guess what? Now you're gonna find out if Becky or Timmy was your friend. You understand? You're gonna find out if these oppressors that you hold so closely and dear to your heart when you think that they're your friends. You understand? They're gonna absolutely turn their back when you're doing these race wars, man. You understand? And like the scripture says, man, it's nothing new under the sun. They're gonna come into our neighborhoods and try to do the same thing they done like they did in Tulsa. Well, let me get there with you. Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 49.
Come.
Got it?
Come. Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49. And the Most High shall bring a nation against thee.
And the Most High shall do what?
Bring a nation against thee.
Now, who is that nation? Who is that nation? Perazza?
That nation is, well, the other nation, but Esau.
Right. You understand? This is Esau, the so-called white man. Read on.
Against thee, from far.
From what?
From far.
Read on.
From the end of the earth.
And this is going back. You gotta know history. You understand? This is going to a prophecy. You understand? When we left Jerusalem in 70 AD, you understand that we fled to the west coast of Africa. You understand? We settled and migrated there, built civilizations like Timbuktu, Ghana, and Mali. You understand? All of that was ran by Negroes, not Africans. You understand? Now I know the Africans get the credit, but guess what? Those was Negroes who made it popular over there in West Coast of Africa. You understand? Eventually, you understand the white man, you understand, he took us from the West Coast of Africa and brought us to the Americas, to the North, South, Central Americas, and to the Caribbean islands. So read that again.
Khan.
Verse 49.
Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 49.
So if you're clicking on a scripture, don't click on it, just scroll up and down.
Oh, Khan. The Most High shall bring a nation against thee from far.
And this is the nation of Edom, which is the Edomites, the sons of Esau, the white man. Read on.
From the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth.
As swift as the eagle flieth. You understand that today the symbol, the emblem for the white man is the eagle, always has been, all the way down to the Alexander the Greek. You understand? The oppressors, even Hitler. You understand? They used the eagle as their symbol. Read on.
A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand.
Right, because while we spoke Hebrew, you know what I'm saying? We didn't speak the English language like how we do today, or or Spanish or Creole. You understand? We spoke English. Read on. Salakia, we spoke Hebrew. Salakia, read on.
Verse 50.
Mm-hmm.
A nation of fierce continents.
A nation of what?
Fierce continents.
Read on.
Which shall not regard the person of old, nor show favor to the young.
Right. Listen, man, they didn't show favor to the old or to the young. You understand? They killed us, and their whole soul was to put us in slavery, kill us, rob us, pillage us, and take everything that we had from us. You understand? No different from what they did in Tulsa. You understand? They killed. Hey, listen, they're not telling you the rape that was going on, of course. You think that it wasn't rape going on in Tulsa? You understand? They're not telling you. You understand how they probably kidnapped our boys and girls and molested them, along with bombing our city. You understand? These people have no regard of Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians. Hold your point. And it's no matter if you're young, you're old. You understand? They will kill you. They will murder you. You understand? And this is the same thing that's going on today. You understand? So why give us a Juneteenth holiday? Why celebrate it? You wearing your red, what is that flag, that red, black, and green? You understand? Hey, listen, man. Captain Tazaryak broke it down. You understand? When Marcus Garvey orchestrated those colors, man, that green, he had sympathy for the Irish. That green also meant the Irish persecution and what they was going through. You understand? So you tie that up. Listen, man, why everything gotta be involved? Why we have to include the oppressor in everything that we're going through? That's what I'm saying, Parazzo?
Khan, Salakia. So
Salakia. When I first came into the truth, right? ISUBK, I still had the red, black, and green flag on. African American, yeah, that's our flag. Until Captain Tazaryak did that that lecture on the flag, man, I ripped that shit down, man. Salakia. I threw that away. You got something to say?
Yeah, Khan, what you're saying is so Hardbody One West are talking about, you know, of course the other atrocity was going on during, you know, saying the Tulsa, Oklahoma, the Tulsa, Oklahoma bombing and Black Wall Street.
Right.
Also, you had, you know what I'm saying, and then and also what you had was people that were still alive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was people living.
Right.
So how come those people didn't go home?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And get that, you know what I'm saying, and start developing their life and get their property back.
Right.
Remember, you had living people, and to this, why didn't, you know what I'm saying? Why didn't our oppressor didn't allow those people who own their property back on that land?
Right.
They took the land.
Damn right.
To this day.
I'm about to send you a link. See if we could get that up on the computer.
Okay.
This is, hey, listen, man, this is going to go into heavy detail or what Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians, man, what we had, how wealthy we was, man. Before all this integration, you understand, before Martin Luther King, you understand, destroyed us with his American nightmare. This is what we had, man. And a white man should be giving us this back, man. Like, how can you listen, man, the oppressor, he has a 400 year head start on us, man. You know how many reparations that would take for us? Shit, let's rebuild Harlem. You understand? You want to give us back? First, let's give back on what you stole from what you destroyed from Tulsa. Give us back Harlem. You understand? Give us back Seneca Village. Give us all of that back, man. If you want to be real with it, move out of America. Give this place back to the native North American Indians. Give Los Angeles back to the Mexicans. White man don't want to talk about reparation, man, because you know what? That would destroy his whole existence of living. There would be no room for the oppressor to live on if they would give us reparations, because this whole world is ours. The Most High said that he made this world for our sakes.
Right.
You able to get that scripture?
Would you send me?
Come.
I
mean, Salaki, that link.
Come.
You got it?
Come. See, I can put it on the screen.
Shalom to the brothers and sisters in the chat. I appreciate you being in the chat. Watching this class, Biblical Shah, please subscribe, like, share. Subscribe, like, and share. Be brotherly, be sisterly. Just don't keep these classes to yourself. Tag people in these classes on your Facebook.
Salaki, I want, if I may, I have it up.
You have it up?
Okay.
I know, sweat. Let's go. Go into it. Ready?
Okay.
Read the very top.
The very top?
First, tell them what website this is from.
This is, see how I can see it.
SPLcenter.org.
Oh, yeah, all right. Yeah, here we go. This is the website of SPLC, Southern Property Lawsuit Center.org. Title: The 99th anniversary of Tulsa Massacre highlights.
The what?
Highlights.
No, read that again. The 99th anniversary.
The 99th anniversary of Tulsa Massacre highlights.
Right. Now, this article was brought out in June 2020. So really, this is the 101 anniversary of Tulsa Massacre. Read on.
Highlights: Juneteenth. Murder of Black people across America.
What?
Murder of Black people.
No, it's with an S.
Oh, murders. Of Black people. Of Black people.
Read on.
Across America.
Read on.
Oh, no.
Yeah, read that part where it says warning.
Oh, warning. The following account contains graphic description that may trigger some readers. Discretion is advised.
Right. Read on.
O.W. Gurnley, a wealthy Black entrepreneur.
A what?
A wealthy Black entrepreneur.
A wealthy Black entrepreneur. A person who consists of making businesses and have businesses. Read on.
From Arkansas. Moved to racially segregated Tulsa.
Moved to what?
Racially segregated Tulsa.
All right, let's read this slow. You understand? Now, he moved to a racially segregated Tulsa. Segregated, which means what? It's to be separate, right?
Okay.
The Most High said in Deuteronomy is that he's going to make us a holy nation, which means separate. So that was the Most High's plans from the very beginning, for Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians to be separate from our enemies. So when a white man says, you know what, nigga, I don't want you in my land, Don't drink my water fountain. Don't drink from my water fountain. Don't use my bathroom. You can't come into my restaurant. Hey, listen, this is what the Most High originally wanted. But we, Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians, you understand, we wanted to be integrated with the other nations. We wanted to see how it was like to swim in their swimming pools and eat in their restaurants. You understand? Be educated in their education systems. Segregated. Read on.
Segregated. Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1906.
1906. So listen, man, this raid, this bombing that happened in Tulsa, Black Wall Street, you understand? That happened in 1921. But now we're talking about 1906. Read on.
And brought 40 acres of land.
That bought how many?
40 acres of land.
Listen, man, you know what you could do with 40 acres of land? You understand? There would be no Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians that would be hungry having 40 acres of land. Read on.
On it, 40 acres of land. On it, he built 3 two-stories buildings and 5 homes for Black people who were not allowed to live in the white side of town.
Ooh, wait. That's wealth right there. That's entrepreneurship right there. And listen, he has so much love for his brothers and sisters that he built them homes where white people said that they can't live in. That's love. You understand? This is what has to go on in Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians communities today. You understand? The love for our brothers and sisters. You understand? Because listen, man, we can't depend on the other nations. We can't depend on the other nations because guess what? All they do is rob, steal, take from us. So here you have this man in 1906 who was an entrepreneur. He looked out for his brothers and sisters by him building 3 two-story buildings and 5 homes for Black people who were not allowed to live on the white side of town. Now you gotta ask yourself, man, is your Christian pastor doing this? You understand? Is your city officials doing this? What's that mayor? What's his name? You understand? What's that mayor? I forgot his name.
O.W.
No, I'm asking a question. What is that mayor today? That the Black mayor?
Adams.
Eric Adams.
Eric Adams.
You understand? What is he doing for Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians? You understand why he's getting on TV and making you push Juneteenth? You understand? Guess what? Our people are still suffering. You understand? There's still Black families from Tulsa that's still feeling the effects of this. Read on.
Con. Soon, word spread across the country about opportunities for Black people in the segregated section of Tulsa.
Read that again. This article is so heavy and powerful. Read that again.
Soon, word spread across the country about opportunities.
About what?
About opportunities
Read on.
for Black people in the segregated section of Tulsa.
Listen, man. It's spread that, listen, man, these people in Tulsa was thriving. These people in Tulsa had their own businesses, their own lands, you understand, their own restaurants, their own schools, their own doctors, their pharmacies and educational systems, you understand? We got to get a piece of that because where we are, where we are right now, we're not thriving, man. We need help. And brothers like that was mentioned earlier, they were there to welcome these brothers and sisters that was not welcome with into other white communities. Read on.
Which Gurley named Greenwood after a town in Mississippi.
Read on.
Other prominent Black.
What?
Other prominent.
Other what?
Other prominent
Read on.
Black business people follow suit.
And guess what? They also follow suit, man. Now we're gonna make this more. We're gonna make this more abundance for Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians. You understand? They followed suit. They helped other brothers and sisters, man. And this why this allows you to build a community. Like the scripture says, Zephaniah 2:1, gather yourselves together. Yea, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired, man. The Most High understood what he was talking about when he told us to gather together. Because this is the effect. This is the outcome of us gathering together. You understand? But no, hey, listen, man. You got rich people amongst our own. Beyonce, Jay-Z, and who is that other guy? Oprah Winfrey. You understand? They got wealth. But what do? They go to Africa and give the Africans their wealth. You understand? Flint, Michigan is still having brown water. But yet Jay-Z built a water well in Africa. You understand? We have a poor educational system here in America. Oprah Winfrey goes to Africa and built a school for all African women, which they're getting molested, which molesting all types of filth is happening. You understand? But our people back in the day, they understood the struggle. They understood that they had to look out for Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians. They had to look out for their own brothers and sisters. Read on. Oh, Salakia. Read on.
J.B. Stratford, who was born into slavery.
He was born into what?
Slavery.
Read on.
In Kentucky, but later became a lawyer.
He became a what?
Lawyer.
Read on.
And activist.
Read on.
Built a 55-room luxury hotel in Greenswood.
A what?
Built a 55-room luxury hotel in Greenswood.
Listen, man, 55-room luxury hotel, man. You know how much space that acquires? You understand that? And you know, man, listen, we had the land, man. We had the land. We had the wealth to generate all of this, to make this happen. You know what?
The largest Black-owned property of its kind in the country at the time.
Meaning that, hey, listen, man, we were more wealthier than a white man. You got something to say, Parag?
Salakia, so yeah, really, this is during Jim Crow.
Right.
This is Jim Crow when, you know what I'm saying, when lynchings was going on random, when brothers and sisters were just getting snatched off the road just because that's who they are. You know what I mean? And also brothers, they have the, you know what I'm saying, they had sundown towns and all this is going on in the midst of, you know what I'm saying, in the midst of this.
Right.
Their affliction.
Right. And you got to understand that, well, Officer Parataza said that we were safe, man, because listen, man, nobody was allowed into our community. You understand? Where to become unsafe? When we started wanting to be integrated with them.
That's right.
Read on.
A.J. Smitherman founded the Black-owned Tulsa Star. Information Black people about their legal right, along with news about court rulings and litigation that would help or harm them.
Okay. Read the next verse.
Come on.
Now listen to this. Listen very closely to what we had compared to what we have today. And let this be a reminder to all you Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians that Martin Luther King's dream of being integrated was a nightmare. This is what destroyed us. And this is what destroying us today. You understand? When we want to trust our enemies and give all that we have to our enemies and take all his gifts, which really is just fronts. You understand? For us to be pacified and became weak and moist and docile. And that's even to destroy us even more. Juneteenth is only going to destroy Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians because now you turned your back to your history.
Right.
For accepting a gift that the white man doesn't give a damn about you. Read on.
Con. Eventually, Greenwood Avenue was lined with luxury shops,
Luxury shops. Read on.
restaurants,
We have restaurants. Read on.
grocery stores,
Grocery stores.
hotels,
Read on.
jewelry and clothing stores.
Wait a minute. Did you say jewelry?
Jewelry and clothing stores.
Jewelry as in gold and diamonds. So we have hookups to gold, diamonds, rubies, Negroes. We're talking about Negroes. We're talking about Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians. You understand? You like grills, you like gold teeth, don't you? You like diamond rings. We just read that the brother that accidentally stepped on the Sarah Page shoe, he wore a diamond ring. And he was making lots of money just shoe shining the oppressor shoes because they was living in an oil district. Don't let the white man tell you, man, that we were just based on being slaves, because that's what they like to tell you in history. They don't like to tell you how we were thriving, how we were segregated, how we didn't need the help of the other oppressors, how we didn't need the help of the white man, the Asian man, the China, the Africans. How we had our own. They don't tell you about that. They tell you, oh, hocus pocus, Black people just appeared in slavery. But they don't never go to death and tell you the history and the crimes that this white man did to us to gain this world. The scripture says that, Job 9:24, that the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. How did he accomplish the earth? By murdering the Lord's chosen people, by burning down our homes. Read on.
Come. Movie theaters.
Yeah, movie theaters.
Barbershops and salons.
Read on.
The district, a barbershop and salon. The district where ultimately came to be known as the Black Wall Street.
Say that again.
The district, which ultimately came to be known as the Black Wall Street.
Black Wall Street. Read on.
Also had a library, pool hall, and nightclubs, as well as office for doctors, lawyers, and dentists.
Who needs the white man having all of this? Who needs the oppressor having all of this? Who needs the Africans having all of this? Who needs the Arabs and the East Indians, you understand, having all of this? If I had all of this, man, I wouldn't trade it for nothing. I wouldn't trade it just to be friends,
right?
Or with the person that hates me.
Right.
I would share this with my fellow Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indian brothers. You put me on, I'm gonna put that next brother on. Paratazar?
So, like I said, if I may, it seemed like you don't even have to go anywhere. You were like, so you could just stay there. You're like, I didn't see a white people in like about 40 years.
Damn right. Absolutely. That's a very good point. Read on.
Come.
Now listen to this next paragraph. Read on.
Working class Black people was not excluded.
Working class Black people were not excluded. You understand? So that means that the brothers and sisters that kind of struggled, you understand, who wasn't wealthy and who wasn't entrepreneurs, who had own businesses and stuff like that, but they had jobs. You understand? Jobs, as we know, like, read on, Slaki, read on.
Janitors.
Read on.
Dishwashers.
Read on.
Porters and domestic workers sent the money they made in other parts of the town in Greenswood.
Right. So listen, man. We also looked out for the brothers who had like janitor jobs with janitor, dishwasher, and porters. You understand? Like how today people look down on like a security officer or somebody who works at McDonald's. You understand? Hey, listen, man. They got the benefits of that wealth too in Black Wall Street. You know.
Oh, Salaki, sir, if I may. This is so hard because it says right here, and domestic workers spent the money that they earned,
Mm-hmm.
they made in the other part, you know what I'm saying, in the other part of town
Right.
in Greensboro. So they still in town. That's all they were spending amongst each other.
Right.
That's all they was doing. They never left the town. You know what I'm saying, it is said, within.
Hey, Salakia. This what Officer Paratazar is about to read is very important. I'm going to explain after you read. Read on.
Come. It is said, within Greenswood, every dollar,
Every what?
every dollar,
Every what?
every dollar
Read on.
would change hands 9 times.
No, 19.
19 times.
How many times?
19 times.
How many times?
19 times.
Read on.
Before it left the community.
Hey, listen, man. Good night. Good night. Hey, listen, man. Black, Hispanic, and Native North American Indians, what do we do when we get our paycheck? We quickly to give it to the hands of the other oppressors. We don't let that dollar generate and be passed on to each other in our neighborhoods. We quickly give it to the Africans. We quickly give it to the Arabs. We quickly give it to the Asians. You understand? We generated the dollar. More so how like the Jewish, the Amalekites do today in their neighborhoods.
Right.
They dollar regenerates in their neighborhood before it leaves their neighborhood. You understand? We know how to keep the dollar in our neighborhoods. Read on.
Michelle Place, executive director.
Well, you could drop that. You understand? You could also just read this scripture. This paragraph, this article, Slakia, for yourself on your own time. It's very interesting. You understand? It goes into what occurred maybe in June 19th, Slakia, June 1st, 1921. Drop that. Let me get in the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus. Let me see what does it say. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 10.
12 and 10?
Yeah, we're going to end it off with this scripture right here.
Come. All right. So 12 and 10.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10.
12 and 10. All right. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Never trust thy enemy.
This is a commandment. The Most High said, what?
Never trust thy
The
enemy.
Most High said, never trust your enemies, man. Never trust your enemies. You understand? Joe Biden last year, he gave you this law, Salakia, this holiday, Juneteenth. You understand? Never trust your enemy, man. Joe Biden hates you. You understand? Your enemy hates you. Read on.
For like as iron rusteth.
For like as iron rusteth. You understand? When iron rusts, you understand? When that iron rusts, can you get that rust off that iron? No, it's hard. It's hard to get that iron rust, man. You understand? Just like how it's hard to change the mind of the oppressor, man. He was created to hate you. Don't you know that? The Most High tells you in these scriptures that he was created to hate you. The Most High said, can you make, I'm paraphrasing, can you make crooked, can you make straight what I made crooked? I'm paraphrasing. You don't have to get it. You understand? Why are you trying to bend this white man straight into loving you while the Most High made him crooked into hating you? Read on.
So is his wickedness.
So is his wickedness. It's like rust. It can't be polished. It can't be taken off. You understand? His wickedness is stuck on him. It's embedded in his spirit. You can't change a tiger. You can't change the spirit of a tiger or spirit of a bear. You understand? You go into a bear cage, guess what? That bear is going to kill you. You go into a cage of a lion, that lion is going to kill you because that's their spirit. Eventually, they're gonna snap. A tiger's gonna be a tiger and just snap and maul you to death. Right? Read on.
Verse 11. Though he humble himself.
Though he humble yourself. Oh, here's Juneteenth. Here's a holiday, black man. You happy now? Stop crying. Because that's what it is. It's just to pacify you. You understand? For you to love your oppressor even more. Read on.
And go crouching.
And he goes crouching. Read on. He's like humble. You understand? He dresses up in a suit and tie. He comes into your neighborhood. And he says, vote for me. I'll make your neighborhoods more better. I'll give you more jobs. I'll give you better health insurance. You understand? He goes into the black churches. Ebenezer Baptizer. He goes into the black church. You understand? Where he can't stand the Negroes just for you. So he could be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
And we get so beguiled every single time, man.
So Lucky, so that's what they do it every 4 years for the run for president.
Right.
They go straight to the black church and say the same old two-step game. You know, they've been doing this ever since, you know, we had since we started voting. That's what they do every 4 years.
Read on.
Yet take good heed.
Take what?
Take good heed.
Read on.
And beware of him.
And be aware of him. Read on.
And thou shalt be unto him as if thou made this wipe a looking glass.
Right. Listen, man. You ever take a shower in a nice, hot, steamy shower, and your mirrors is all foggy, and you wipe off the fog, and what do you see? You see yourself. You understand? You see the same person that you went in. That's the same as the white man. Read on.
And
he never changes. Read on.
And thou shalt know that his rust have not been altogether wiped away.
He's the same man. He will always hate you. He was always oppress you. He will always rob you, rape you, murder, blunder, pillage. You understand? He's always gonna hate you. Why? Because you're the Lord's chosen people.
Right.
Right. And with that, I'm Precinct Officer Shaw. I'm gonna pass the class over to Precinct Officer Paratazar.
Clap it up for the class.
You can clip it.